Well, hi, SMBC. I'm Ben Powell, the director of the Bridge program here at college. Thank you, Bridges, and a lecturer in missions. I recently completed my doctoral thesis on the challenges of power imbalance across cultures within global mission organisations. Thank you. One of the things I've learned along the way is it feels like I should probably enter into moments like this beginning with something more like, hi, I'm Ben Powell. I'm middle-aged. I'm white. And I'm a male. And I've recently written a thesis on 101 ways to offend a room full of people and have them dislike you. And having addressed the elephant in the room that is my identity in this discussion, all joking aside, I wanted to explore these issues because in our time in mission overseas and back here in our churches in Sydney, I've seen real challenges in the way not only the secular world, but the mission community in our churches are having in navigating the increasing cultural and ethnic diversity in our world. I've seen real hurts, real inequalities, real injustices, and I've felt ill-equipped to understand and lead helpfully in a manner that promotes reconciliation and unity. So to be more specific, what challenges am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about why in a seminar room full of leaders in an organisation from diverse cultural backgrounds, a female from a non-white cultural background might consider herself as having no more status in the room than a 3 out of 10. While her male colleagues from a non-white background might consider themselves as maybe being a 5 out of 10. But none of my white colleagues felt they held any less than 7 out of 10. That was a real experience. What's going on there? Well, I know one thing for sure. It had nothing to do with missionary fruitfulness or capability in that room. I'm talking about the new language and vocabulary that we've learned and adopted into these discussions. It's the language of power and privilege, and the idea that all of our relational and social interactions are governed by the systems of power that ensure that particular cultural groups continue to benefit while other groups remain oppressed. I'm talking about how we as Christian brothers and sisters learn to hear from one another, how we talk through challenges and walk forward in ways that love and honour the whole body of Christ. But this is not easy. It's not easy. One of the first seminars I facilitated on this was back in 2018 at a leadership training retreat. It was a session where we were just trying to explore and understand some power dynamics between cultures, just going to the biblical text and foundations. And some of the feedback I was given afterwards included the accusation that I was espousing left-wing New York Times Democratic Party values. This is dangerous ground, friends. I've been called a lot of things in life, but an American. Sorry to those of you in the room. That was new. But you likely understand that because it's probably similar to what's happening in some of your circles and certainly in wider society where any of us venture into these discussions, even well-meaning, it potentially ends in accusations of or being placed into a category of the political and ideological camps of wokeism and Marxism maybe, or fascism and colonialism on the other side. Our left and our right wings of politics, that's the lens that we address this through. And it seems that we're often eager to categorize people into them so that perhaps we feel more sure of how to respond. Having seen how governments and institutions and organisations have attempted to work through these challenges, yes, my concern is that though the secular critique of these relational networks and social systems through the lens of power has exposed real areas of injustice, it cannot provide biblically grounded reconciliation and justice and the hope of unity that we see in the gospel. And it's a challenge in missions for sure, but it's a challenge in our churches right here in Sydney and throughout Australia. Greater Sydney, from the most recent 2021 census, including over 40% or more than 2.2 million people who were born overseas. That's our immediate mission field. Diverse, rich, wonderful in cultural expression. So if you'd like to consider some of these challenges of power imbalance across cultures more deeply, then can I interest you in a plenary session at the upcoming SMBC Missions Conference? There, we're going to explore some of the real issues and challenges of power dynamics across cultures. We're going to dip our toes into the world of critical theory to understand how our world is trying to address some of these challenges. And we're going to see how a biblical foundation provides a far more compelling critique and solution. Why? Because the Bible doesn't ignore power. In fact, it says something far more radical and transformative. That true power is not found in control, but in sacrificial love. The most powerful moment in history was not upon a throne, but upon a cross. In Jesus, people from every culture, language, and background are not merely made equal, but we're brought into a new kind of community, a family even. A family where power is used to serve, not subjugate. The gospel tells a better story. It exposes the real issues of sin and injustice, and it provides a solution and a true hope and a path to reconciliation and unity. I hope to see you there along with my friend JD Payne. I don't know him, but he is the keynote speaker, and I've read so many of his books. And I'm excited that he is coming to teach us at the SMBC Missions Conference. And there'll be one little plenary from me and plenty of other great things that'll take place in that week. The 28th to the 30th of July this year. Tickets and further details are on the SMBC website. Thank you.